Hello and happy Friday. This is Dr. Nicola Dellinger coming to you today because there's something that was really profound that came up this week with a couple of my patients. And for me, at this stage in my career, it's just this underlying knowing, this just piece of wisdom or knowledge that I just have and faith within me. But what I realized is, as I was sharing it with some of my patients, that not everyone has this point of view around what is the most important thing to bring ourselves back into health and vitality. And the reality of it is that we have to address the underlying cause, which for everyone that I sit with, on some level, stress, anxiety, and overwhelm is part of what is going on in every single disease state that I see, be it chronic pain, fibromyalgia, digestive upset, blood pressure for sure, cancer, mental health, anxiety, depression, insomnia, fatigue, female hormone imbalance, thyroid dysfunction, autoimmune for sure. I mean, you name it, and stress, overwhelm, and anxiety are absolutely at the core of what's going on here. And so what I was saying to my patients, especially I had a couple new patients this week, and I said, we end up talking about really the mind-body connection when I'm sitting with people, especially in a new visit, because most people are coming to me as a naturopathic doctor thinking that we're going to do diet and lifestyle changes and some supplements, maybe some herbs, which is all true. That might be part of what we're doing. But what I've said to everybody this week is that the single most important medicine that is the cure is being with yourself in a loving and compassionate way and learning how to do that, because most of us were not taught how to do that. In fact, we were taught kind of the opposite, how to be critical, how to strive for more, how to push ourselves, which can be great in some ways, but for the most part, it's really just feeding our inner critic and creating more angst in our system. And so physiologically, when we are stressed out, when we are criticizing ourselves, when we are not being kind and loving in some way to ourselves, when we're really only focusing on what we could have done different, better, or what we haven't even gotten to, there's an actual physiological thing that happens in your body because there's cortisol. Cortisol is your main stress hormone. Cortisol has two main functions in the body. One is to manage stress, threat, fight or flight, that sort of thing. And the other is to manage inflammation. Everybody's heard of steroids, hydrocortisone, and cortisol derivatives, right? So these are all derivatives of cortisone that are really potent anti-inflammatories in our medical pharmacy. And so understanding that when we don't take the time to manage our stress, to be with ourselves in a more loving and compassionate way, to set up our life in such a way that it feels realistic and doable, then we are shunting most of that cortisol down the stress management pathway, down the fight or flight pathway. And there's very little cortisol left to manage inflammation, which then manifests in a myriad of ways depending on your body. And the more that we understand that this is not just some nicey nice thing that wouldn't it be nice if I could get massages and never have to go to work again, this is actually a real thing that is turning on the genes that create disease and illness, that is causing inflammation in your body, that is causing you to not digest your food and receive the nutrients, even if you're eating the healthiest diet in the world. If you're eating it in a sympathetic or aroused state of being, your body doesn't grab that nutrition in the same way. And so I feel like it's so important to get on and tell you all this, that the most important medicine, the only thing that is curative is you being in relationship to you in a different way, and you making a fierce and bold commitment that peace, ease, health, vitality, joy, love, whatever these values are that we say are important to us, that we absolutely and definitively put them at the top of our list, because when we do that, then everything else on our to-do list flows from that place. And so when we talk about self-care, when we talk about stress management, I think people are so strung out that it feels like if I stopped pushing myself, then I would just flop and do nothing. And that might be the case for a week or two, but that's not your natural state of being. And so this isn't about inaction. This is about inspired action. So choosing to do the things that light you up. And that doesn't mean that that's always taking a hike or getting a pedicure or eating an awesome meal. But maybe, even right now, I have some emails that I really have to write. I'm on a deadline. But what inspires me, what juices me up is hopping on and doing these videos that actually gives me a lot of energy. And so I chose to do this first, even though I'm under a very tight deadline for this other piece, because I know that once I hop off this video, I'm going to have so much energy and reserves that those emails are going to be completed in a quarter of the time that it would have if I had tried to take on that task from a place of kind of fatigue and irritability and like obligation, I guess. I have to get these things done. Now I am choosing to do these plays from a place of empowerment, from a place of pleasure, from a place of inspiration, and I know that that will fill up my tank. So I want to be really clear that once we start talking about stress management or self-care, it's not about dropping everything that we need to do, but it's about putting that in a priority, an appropriate priority. And if you want vibrant health, if you want good energy, good sex, good sleep, good digestion, all of these things, then we have to start prioritizing those values first and deciding, is what I'm about to do going to feed this, or is it going to deplete that? And if we start aligning with our values, then everything else starts to flow from there. So I just, again, want to hop on and let you know, supplements, herbs, homeopathics, these can all be amazing tools, but none of them are as effective as you loving on yourself, you addressing your stress, you learning how to be with yourself in times of anxiety and overwhelm. If you want to learn more about this, I've got a summit. It's free, it's online, it starts September 24th. I'll include the link. I'd love to have you there. And if not, hopefully this video kind of got you inspired and ready to make a fierce and bold commitment to what's truly, truly your top value. And if you say that, say, peace and health are your top values, I'm wondering, is the way you're living your life in alignment with that? Please let me know, comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.